2, 1.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. 815.
Hey, good news, everybody. The older you get, the less money you need to retire for the rest of your life. I'm Greg. He's Tom. This is the In Crowd 815 podcast for the 23rd day of November, the year 2024, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind. And if you're lucky to die about a week or two after you retire, well, then you made it.
Yeah.
It's like I had all the money. I didn't even spend anything in my retirement.
Didn't even need all that stuff I saved up all those years.
Didn't. Yes.
We're just full of good news today. Hey, we're figure out the cameras today, Greg. Right there's Tom. Nudge the person next to you that's still sleeping. Hey, it's time for In Crowd 815, and we've got a good show for you. And the person still sleeping next to you, so wake them up.
The person that was sleeping next to me.
There you go, Fuzzy Bear.
Is it?
Bear.
Is it? He does kind of look like Fozzie Bear, doesn't he?
Little. He's got a scarf on.
He does. He does.
Little kerchief.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Our guest is probably like, oh, dear God, what did I get myself into?
What did I get myself into? We're going to bring her on here in a moment. But before we do, we are going to take care of a little bit of business. And that's this right here. We are starting a new race to 10. If you...
I can't take a number.
Sorry. It's okay. It's all right. If you missed last week's show, you need to go back and take a listen and a watch as we reluctantly yet lovingly accepted the resignation of our longtime co-host Joanne Stewart from Paws Humane Society. Paws has been a part of our Saturday shows since before I took over the show in 2013.
Yeah.
She and Paws was a part of what they were doing for at least a year or two before that. So somewhere near 14 or 15 years of Paws Humane Society being a part of our Saturday morning shows when we were on the radio on 1440 WROK. And as a podcast when we started launching this year, we did this in 2020. So Joanne, thank you for many, many years and so many hours of service and volunteering and making Paws shine bright here in the 815. And we love you and we wish nothing but the best for you.
And we already miss you, Joanne.
We already miss you,
Joanne's
Joanne.
A very special person. And what she does with animals and just the way she, hearing her story when we went out to breakfast the other day, was pretty amazing. I mean, for what she's been through, all the crap she's had to deal with, to come out on this end being as nice and as giving and as wonderful as she is, I'm telling you, there's something very, very special about that young lady. And I can't wait till the next time we get together and do some breakfast or some lunch. And I think we should do it on a more regular basis. Let's carve out an hour and a half, once a month or once, every 6 weeks or whatever, just to be able to keep in touch with Joanne.
Absolutely. I think she might be okay with that. 676,000 is our big number of the week this week. The answer is pistachios, which is kind of fun to say, or play app. Pistachios or play app. What does 676,000 have to do with one of those two things? Put up your made up story in the comments. Let us know if you want to guess. And the new race to 10 is basically just me versus Tom. I'm gonna try to stump him every week. Not really. I challenge you to Google this number and see if a story comes up from the last week or two that makes you go, oh, I know what Greg is talking about here this week. I know why he chose this number. We'll tell you by the end of the show. But anyway, let us know if maybe someday we'll come up with a prize and it'll be a surprise to us too. So go ahead.
All right. I've already sent you mine.
All right. Tom is locking in his guess right now. And I know why he does that, because he wants you, the viewer and listener, to know he's not just Googling the answer. He thinks he knows without using the Google machine.
Nope, it's a total guess. You were partially right. I'm doing it so that everybody else can have a square shot at it, whatever. No, it's a total guess.
What in the world is Blue Heron Business Partners? You want to know? I want to know. And Emily's going to tell us all about it from the great state of Washington. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
How are you this fine morning? It's really early where you are.
It is really early.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I didn't even think about it. It's 6:05.
Yes, I was up and Adam at 5:10 because I was like, I've got a podcast today. I gotta get up.
That's
I
right.
want to be on this show. We have known each other now, I think, for going on 2 years.
hmm
And to be quite honest, I'm guessing here. I think the only reason we truly met was because of LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I think that's how we met each other. Emily is a big networker, does a lot of cool stuff online and in person, and we're going to get into some of that here today. But for those who have never met Emily BISSEN and want to know more about her, what is your little elevator pitch on? Here's what we want. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school and college if you went to college? And then a little career arc, which landed you into your current position.
Okay. So I grew up in Stoughton, Wisconsin.
Stoughton.
Yep. Went to Stoughton High School and then went to UW-Madison for college. My career started as a middle school family and consumer science teacher. So home ec, if you are unfamiliar with the new term that they've called it. And I loved it. I loved teaching kids how to cook and sew and do all the things that they needed for life skills. But when I was ready to start a family, I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to have energy for both things and be really great at both. So left that and had a brief stint as a financial services person. Hated that. It was not my path. And applied for a job at a business coaching firm where they told me I was not a good admin fit because my personality was way more social than somebody who could sit and do numbers all day. So
it took you
there,
two
yeah.
things to figure that out, Emily.
It
took
did.
you the accounting thing, the financial thing, and then the admin thing to go, oh yeah, I need to be involved in people to people skill stuff.
Yes, I'm really good at talking to people and really good at seeing opportunities for people to make connections. And so when I decided to start Blue Heron Business Partners, I quit my job and started this business. And at the very same time, my husband accepted a job in Seattle. So we were flying across the country and starting fresh. And so what I do now is I work with entrepreneurial parents to do the work that they love, attract the people that they are really excited to work with, and get paid well for what they do, but also have time for the people in their life that they want to spend time with. And I host Grow Your Network, which you come to every month, which is so fun, a really great way to connect with people from across the globe and share people to people and people to resources in that hour a month.
And you never give me grief for being in different locations almost every month. I really love how you just accept me for where I am. Sometimes if I got a closing, I'll be in the parking lot of the title company. If I got showings, I'll be, outside of a house waiting for a client to show up. And as long as I know I can be there for most of the hour, I jump on. I don't, if I can only be there for 10 or 15 minutes, I don't want to, interrupt the flow of what happens with that 1 hour. And you keep it to 1 hour every month.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it okay if I talk about the format of what you do?
Totally. Yeah.
So once a month, the Grow Your Network networking group that Emily promotes through LinkedIn welcomes anywhere from 15 to, I think the most you've had on is probably maybe 28 people.
The most was 50. We
You
had
did have
50 the first couple times I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm working and getting back up there.
Wow.
Which, being online, you're not in a physical room with a bunch of people. So you can be in your own space. You get that comfort level of being where you are and such. But the cool thing that Emily does, which is really fun, everyone's in the big room in a Zoom room to start. And then we get a question, some intriguing question to go into breakout rooms with. So you might be in a breakout room with 3, 4, or 5 different people, and everyone gets a chance to riff on the question. Like, for example, one of the questions this last week was, hey, if money were no object, what would you do? Or would you keep doing what you're doing currently? Would you modify it in some way? Would you be doing something completely different than what you're currently doing? And it really causes some interesting conversation, introspection, some deep diving into what people's motivations are to go, do I really want to keep doing what I'm doing? And if I don't, how should I modify it so that I do? It's great conversation, and the questions that you and your buddy Darnell come up with every month are great topics. So we do that 3 times within the hour in breakout sessions, and it gives you a chance to meet some people from all over the world. I've talked to people on boats in the Caribbean and in Scotland and in Canada and I mean all over the place. You've garnered a really interesting group of people.
That was my whole goal. To connect with interesting people across the globe and to be able to see. I love the fact that we are able to share the things that are working for us or things that we'd like to tweak, or, oh my gosh, you need to meet somebody. And actually, Greg, there is a resource that I want to share with you after for nonprofit grants. So
Awesome.
yes, from one of the people who came. So
Yes. It's really cool to connect with these people that are doing things similar in other areas of the world. And, they can say, hey, we tried this. It didn't work here. Maybe it'll work for you, but it didn't work for us here. And here's why we think it didn't work. Here's what we did that did work and why we think it might work for you too. Because when you're in a space like that too, you lift the roof of competition off your head. It's like, we're not here to compete against each other. We're in different parts of the country anyway.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let's take the roof off this thing and see how much we can grow and expand in our sphere of influence here in our world. So you moving from the Midwest to Seattle, has it been kind of a culture shock? Have you found yourself longing for the days of 4 seasons instead of 2, or what?
It has been different, but I do enjoy the fact that I can leave the snow in the mountains in the wintertime. I can go visit it if I want, but I can leave it there because every road here is a hill. So snow and Seattle do not mix.
You get 2 inches of snow and the city shuts down for three days.
Because they have to, because
They
there
have
is
no
no
equipment.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything is so steep. So it is, and there are so many cars that it's very dangerous to drive around in the snow here. But it's been a really good move for us. We spend a lot of time outside, and there's something that one of my first friends that I met here said. She said, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad gear. And so we go out in every kind of weather. I run twice a week in any kind of weather, and it's been good for my soul.
Good.
That's good. That is so awesome. Yeah, I've been out there 3 times, as I said, in the pregame warmups, and I love it. I really, really do love it. I think my buddy lives in a housing community thing, and they've got so many of the weirdest rules. That's the one thing that would drive me nuts. Like you can't. You have to park your car at a certain part. You can't. Whatever. I know you were talking about you could park anywhere, but that's like on the street downtown. But in his housing, what do they call it? Housing.
Your condo units.
There's an
HOA.
HOA. What is that? Yeah, whatever that is.
Okay.
He said the rules are just ridiculous, and he, that part of it he doesn't like. Otherwise, I can't get him to move back here. I'm like, dude, his kids are both early 20s now, moved on, whatever. I said, you and Chris need to move back here. Come on. So it is expensive. He says he's thinking about maybe moving back to like the Chicago area or some of the suburbs or something like that. But anyway, I digress.
Cost of living, a little different out there.
A little bit.
Yes.
Probably slightly better than California, though. I don't know how much better, but I always tell people when, years ago when I was in between jobs and potentially careers, my wife and I were seriously considering moving out of the Midwest as well. And our 2 greatest opportunities for the both of us landed. One was in Virginia and one was in Southern California. And our deep dive into those areas found the cost of living to be so much more than here that we would both have to be easily making 2 to 3 times as much money per month to live the same way we were living here. and we would be without family. I mean, we'd be starting fresh and new. And then we kind of looked at each other like, is that really a life we want? And nope, we're going to stay right here. That had to be a bit of a challenge for you too. I mean, considering the move that you guys made.
Yeah, it's definitely been hard to be away from all of our family, but the good news is we moved to a place that people actually want to visit. So that's been helpful.
Yeah, sure, I'll visit. It's January, sure. It's 12 degrees here and it's 42 degrees there. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
And you can see whales in the sound. I can actually see them from my living room window sometimes, which is amazing and not something that a lot of Seattleites have actually seen. There are a lot of people from here that have never seen whales. I'm like, how is that even possible?
They don't slow down enough. Take a look.
Right. There's a WhatsApp group that gets updated where they let us know where in the sound the whales are. So if they're near me, I like stop what I'm doing and I'll go outside and I'll see if I can see them from shore.
Nice. By the way, that was Barney that made an appearance here in the show.
Thanks, Barney. That's what we needed right there. We need to see Barney.
Well, I'm the new Joanne now. That was our cat. That was our pet of the week. So post Barney. He's not for sale. He's just fun to look at. That's my little baby right there.
Well, I want to put up on the screen real quick the website. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. The website for your book that you just put out. Network Like a Pro. And I'm curious, what was the motivation behind putting this together, Emily?
Yeah. So I talk about this all the time. I have conversations about networking and I talk to people about the different things that were in that ebook all the time. And the thing that has stopped me from creating any sort of resource like this before is I felt like every time it was sort of changing and I didn't want it to be like static. And so it's like, ooh, maybe I'll wait. But then, I don't know, the spark of lightning hit or something. And I knocked it out in a couple days. And it's one of the coolest things that I think I've ever built. So it was just a way to help people who maybe don't like networking figure out how to do it in a way that actually fits them. Because every time I work with my clients, it is helping you figure out what is the way that you actually like making connections to people in the world. And let's build your strategy around that way to connect. So this ebook is just a way to help people who are trying to figure out what room am I supposed to be in? How do I build a strategic partnership? How do I follow up? What do I say when I get there? Who do I seek out as the person that's going to help me get connected to other people? Because when you do it in person, and admittedly, I'm very out of practice networking in person, but every time I networked in person, I would always find the wallflower because I'm a pretty social person and I know a lot of people. And I would say, who do you want to meet today? Who do you want to get connected to? And then I'd be able to pull them over and say, you two need to meet because this is the thing you have in common. And a lot of the times it was actually the CEOs of really big companies that were standing on the wall like, I don't want to be here, but I have to because my marketing person said I needed to be seen.
How funny and true is that? Yeah, some people are at networking events because they're ordered to do it. It's part of their job. They got to go.
Yeah,
I'm just here for the drinks and the hors d'oeuvres. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, this is a 39-page guide, basically for all things networking. And when I bought my copy and I skimmed through it just to kind of take a look at the highlights of what I thought might be highlights of the book, I quickly printed 3 pages as a resource for me because these are the 3 things that I know I personally need to work on the most. But there's way more than just these 3 pages. I could go through the whole book, but that would be a bad thing for me. That would be rude of me to do because we want to ask people to buy this book. It's not expensive. Get a copy for yourself and take notes. But some of these topics that I found immediately relevant to my personal networking is in chapter 2. Asking engaging questions to spark conversation. I'm going to be using this in January for an event that I'm doing within Crowd 815. This is going to be the focal point. This page right here. of what I'm doing at an event in January. In chapter 4, building relationships over time, staying in touch without being pushy.
Yes.
That's
Being pleasantly persistent.
pleasantly persist. Exactly. And thank God I've had some people in my life tell me that's how they view me because of my real estate career. I need to keep in touch with people and remind them I'm still in real estate. And I'd like to do that without, hammering them over the head saying, you have to buy a house with me. No. I just want you to know I'm still in real estate so you can connect me with people that might need my assistance. And then chapter 6 jumped out too. Why acknowledging the host is key to future invitations. So this is just 3 pages out of the 39 that I jumped on right away as seeing things that I want to improve myself on. Is there a chapter in Network Like a Pro that really was the highlight spark for you, Emily, that you were like, maybe that's the chapter you started with, but it ended up not being chapter 1? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the section on trying to evaluate kind of where you are, and there's a self quiz in there to kind of see where do you fit, what do you like, how do you like to connect with people? Because the thing that I've realized, and I'm going to start with a story. So when I was in Wisconsin working for this business coaching firm, I networked all the time in every room, all across the city. And it was exhausting. it was a lot, but that was my job. And I realized when I started my own business that, or actually when COVID happened and an e-break was pulled on the world and everyone had to go home. And I was like, wait a minute, like my entire week is networking. How do I adjust? And I realized, one, it doesn't take as much time as it needs to, as I've been taking to do all of this and making connections. And 2, I wasn't always in the right rooms. I was in there because we were members of certain places, but I wanted to make sure that I was finding places that were aligned with my energy, aligned with the types of people that I wanted to connect with, that were the right groups. And I think so often people stay in spaces that they're comfortable in, but aren't actually helping them move the needle at all. It's like, I'm going to stay in this group because I've been here for 10 years. Okay, cool. But how many of these people are referring you new business? Or how many of these people are saying your name in other rooms that they're in? And if you've gotten to the point where you know everybody so well, it's time to find a new room to be in. And that can be kind of scary, but it's so necessary for growth and to make sure that you're challenging yourself to have maybe deeper conversations or put yourself out there in a different space. And so this is a way to kind of see, okay, am I really comfortable with where I am? And am I actually getting results from the places that I am spending my time in? Because your time is the most valuable resource that you have.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're spending, and I think sometimes we think, oh, well, I network all the time, I should be getting all this business. No. If you're not being intentional about where you're spending your time, who you're talking to, what you're asking them, how you're following up, just because you're seen everywhere doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more business.
Yeah. And are you meeting enough people that you want to refer their business to other people?
Right. Exactly.
That's the big step that I think a lot of people miss the boat on, is that, you know what, it's you're out networking, yes, to grow your business, but probably the best way to grow your business is help someone else grow their business.
100%. That's why I started Grow Your Network, is because it's not a space for me to get a lot of new business. Sometimes it comes because people like my vibe, but it's a place for people to sort of challenge themselves and go a little deeper, and letting people know like who you are so that they can see, oh yeah, this is somebody that I would refer down the road. And I frequently promote people in that group because I think they're awesome and they're doing really cool things. And I talk to everybody there.
Yeah. You start to know what drives people, what their passion is, not just what their business title is, because everyone's got a business title. Yeah, I'm a member of this company, and I'm charged with doing this thing, whatever it is. But what is it that actually gets them out of bed excited in the morning?
Yeah.
Why do I on Saturday mornings every week get out of bed before 8 a.m. because I know we go live at 8 a.m., but trust me, I'm out of bed before 8 a.m. Okay, just in case you're wondering. And when we used to
About
do this,
7:50 is when he shows up to the show.
when we used to do this on the radio, we had to drive to the radio station. So
Yeah.
I was up even earlier. I get an extra 45 minutes of sleep now because I don't have to get up and dress appropriate for a radio station and being out in public. But look,
And I was getting there at about 6:30, no, because I was going on at 7 with Alex and I was there about 6. I had to write up weather, I had to write up sportscasts, stuff like that. So yeah, I know.
it was an early morning.
Yeah.
This is obviously my passion project. So this gets me riled up and going, not just on Saturdays, but throughout the week as well. So some of this stuff you may or may not find in Network Like a Pro, the book, but it might open up some questions that you have about yourself and motivate you to find your true motivations, why you do what you do. So,
and I will say, if you find that you're not actually doing what you want to be doing, it's okay, because it's a journey and it doesn't, whatever you've been doing for such a long time has been successful. But if it's not like lighting that spark anymore and you're not feeling like energized by it, there may be just a couple tweaks that you can make to get it closer to where you want it to be, without having to throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Okay, so you can't see the dog here, my 90-pound Elsie. She has to go outside. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna run her outside, and then old Barney's either hungry or wants to go outside. So just give me about 30 seconds here. I'm so sorry.
You go do your thing. Emily and I will just sit here and talk about Tom now because he's gone. So there we go. We'll give him his break. There we go. How's the sales been so far? You just launched this book not even a month ago. So how has the sales been going for you so far?
They've been good. There are a couple new people that bought it this last week. And admittedly, I don't do a great job promoting it, except for at Grow Your Network. So that's my own thing.
And I think that's part of the conversation we were just having too. Let's face it. Let's be honest. You did not write this book hoping to make $1 million off of this booklet.
No.
This is a resource you felt needed to be had by the people that you care about and do business with. Mm-hmm. And no one else was producing it. Am I hitting the nail on the head on this one?
Yeah. And there are people that want to meet with me to talk about networking. And this is just an easier way. Like, read the book. If you still have questions, we can totally have a conversation about it. But I just wanted to make sure that people had an accessible resource that they could use if they're feeling stuck.
Okay. And now answer this or don't answer this. This is an unfair question. I didn't prep you for this. All right, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Okay. Did this cost you a ton of money to produce? Was it hard to self-publish a book like this?
No, not at all. It was way easier than I thought it was going to be. But it took time. So I spent a couple late nights working on it, but yeah, it was not taxing in terms of finances. I used Canva to help me put it together and make it look pretty.
Are you the type of person that has what angel and demon on your shoulder, and that I'm pointing to the demon as the perfectionist in all of us that wants things to be absolutely perfect before hitting publish or send? Did that voice need to be squashed while you were putting this together?
Yes, because the formatting did not look how I wanted it to look in a lot of places in this book. But I was like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. It's there. And my friend Holly said this phrase that I use all the time now: ship it dirty. Like, do the thing, get it out there. You can always make a 2.0 later, but the thing, I'm trying not to let my perfectionist tendencies stop me from actually taking the action, doing the thing, because no, it's not. The first iteration probably won't be perfect, and there's probably a typo in there. It is what it is.
I think that's a really important point that I was hoping we would make today, is that I run into so many people. Obviously, like I said, being in real estate, I deal with realtors all the time, and a lot of times that we're being highly encouraged now to do a lot more social media stuff. And there are some people who are really quick and easy to just say, all right, I'm going to hold up my phone. I'm going to make a video, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going to put it out there, even if it doesn't look great. And then there are those who will not push, send, or publish on something until they think it's perfect. And that's not what social media is today.
Mm-mm.
It's raw. It's
People want to know who you are.
yeah.
They want the real version of you. They want to know that you are a real human being that they can relate to. And if you're perfect and polished all the time, you're not relatable.
Right. Well, just this week, I was explaining what I do on this podcast, and I got some cross-eyed from some person who was like, "You don't edit it after it's done?"
Huh.
No, we go live, and then when we're done, we download it and put it onto Spotify unedited, other than maybe the ends. We might trim off the ends, beginning and end.
Or if I make a really stupid joke or something like that, get rid of that part. You know.
There's zero editing in the middle of this thing, because we want to be real. We want people to know who we are and our personalities and what we're like. And when you do this long enough, you eventually just become the person that you are. So, and that's what you've done with your group on Zoom, through the LinkedIn promotions that you've done through this group, is show yourself to be just who you are. And it's really, I think that's the best thing.
Yeah. It's I've got it to a point now where I can show up and hold the space and get people connected, and it's easy. And that's the thing. That's the best advice I can give anyone right now, is if you're worried about how to talk about the thing that you do and the thing that you sell, stop. Just be yourself, because people don't actually care what you sell. In a lot of instances, they want to know, can you solve my problem? And do I like you as a human being? And if both of those answers are yes, they're probably going to do business with you.
Right.
Yep. Foot in the door type thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So as I take this off the screen here now for just a moment and put you back on the big side of the screen here, Emily, is there anything that we didn't ask you about today that you'd kind of like to make sure we talk about, either about this book that you put out, or networking in general, or I do want you to talk just a little bit more, if you would, about what you do for your business, because Blue Heron is a pretty unique thing that you do, and you do it on, as you've just been describing, in a time frame that lets you live a life of a family person, which is important.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the background in business development that I have, it is really about helping people see opportunities in front of them. So a lot of the times my clients will come to me and say, I'm doing all these things. I am overwhelmed. I'm overworked. I don't know how to get out of this cycle of doing everything. And we take a break and we take a pause and we dump out the junk drawer and say, okay, what do you actually like doing? Let's figure that out first. Because if you're selling something you don't actually like to produce, it's going to be really hard to talk about it. So helping people get back into alignment with what are the things that you actually want to do, and then how do we delegate that work to somebody else? How do we scale it in a way that allows you to do the things that you actually love, but then also continue to support the clients that you already have with the work that you've been doing? And the thing that makes the work that I do with my clients unique is that they get to bring their whole selves, because we're not just what we do for work. A lot of what happens outside of work informs how we show up at work. So if there's a time that something's going on personally that's affecting how you're doing business or supporting your clients, we talk about that and figure out how to blend the two to make sure that you're not only supporting yourself as a human being, but you're also supporting your business as a business owner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm putting the link in the chat, by the way, for the page where you can go and take a look at this book and buy a copy for yourself. It's a digital download, easy to go through. And like I said, I've already printed off 3 pages of the 39 that I'm going to be, because my big mantra, if you will, for the next probably year, if I'm going to have is it too early to have my New Year phrase? The phrase of the year. The phrase for me is do less better.
I love it.
3 words: do less better. Because we find ourselves trying to do too much and wearing ourselves thin, and then we're doing a lot of things not very well.
Yes.
And there's too many of us that want to do everything, and I want it all and I want it now. Okay, that's
So let me get this straight. If I'm sitting on the couch watching a football game and I shift and get into a better position and now I'm more comfortable, did I accomplish that goal?
I think so.
I think so.
Wow. Wow. This is
Mine that I always
mind-blowing.
try and tell myself, Greg, that's very similar to what you said, is let it be easy. Like,
Let it be
so
easy.
often we think, okay, well, if I want to be successful, it has to be hard to get there. No,
Right.
Well,
it can be super easy.
it kind of I kind of half joking here. I love that. I think it's wonderful if you think about it. It really does sound it's right because it's the same concept of work smarter, not harder. People look at
Mm.
you and well, you need to work hard. You only need to work. No. You need to work smarter, not
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
Working harder and not smarter means you're just working harder for nothing. Working smarter means you're cutting out the stuff you don't need to do and you're getting to that
Mhm.
path from point A to point B in much quicker fashion and much more efficient fashion.
And
So,
when you make it hard, you're actually just feeding your ego.
That's true
you know what?
too.
That's a good point. The old
That's
pat
true.
on the back, which
Because we can blame
oh,
this all we
man.
want. We can blame the fact that we have all these distractions on our phone, but the truth is you have control of your phone. You
Yeah.
can set how you get your notifications. And let me tell you something I did a few years ago. I'll give myself a pat on the back right here. A few years ago, I went in, I heard somebody talk about this. I went in and I turned off notifications for all my social media
Me too.
apps. They are off. What does that mean? That means until I actually physically open the app, I don't get notifications. And that has freed my brain and my time and my efforts
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
It was
Same.
like, oh, Bob is out to lunch. He's had a burger. Okay, great. You just wasted 12 seconds. I'll do you one better. I have no social media apps. Nothing.
He's got one better. That's right. He
Yeah,
doesn't do any of
yeah.
the social media stuff.
I don't even bother with it. I used to be on Facebook and I was spending a few hours at a time. I'm getting into chats about football or about politics or about this or about that. And I'm like, yeah, how dare you say that? It's like,
No.
oh no, I gotta stop.
No, it's not so many times it's not worth the effort or the time spent. So careful what you spend your time on. All right. So I've got in the chat the link to the how to get a hold of Network Like a Pro, the ultimate guide to building connections that count. Check it out and find Emily BISSEN on LinkedIn. And I encourage you to connect with her if you found a few nuggets that you're going to go forward with in your life today. So any final things before we take you to the trivia round with Tom?
Well, if you go to my website, blueheronbusinesspartners.com, it has the link to the networking book and to the networking event.
Okay.
If you want to check that out too.
I'm going to do right now because this will be in the Spotify page as well. So it's going to be all there for everyone to get. But right now I want to make sure it's in the comments. The link to your website, blueheronbusinesspartners.com, is now in the chat for everybody. So
I don't know if I missed it, but I'm curious. How did you come up with the name Blue Heron?
Yeah, you did miss it because we didn't talk about it. It was when I was trying to figure out what I was going to name it, I sort of meditated on it and figured out, and Blue Heron came to mind, and I said, why did that come? And Blue Herons co-create life together. And that is what I wanted to have as the basis of my business, is to co-create success together and to not have to do it alone, but also make a ripple effect across the communities that we're in and the country and the world with the things that we're doing. So
talk about something dropping in your lap. That is really awesome. That is so cool.
little known fact, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. There's a restaurant in southern Wisconsin called the Blue Heron.
Oh, I did not know.
And it's in the town where my sister lives, and I drive by it every time I go to visit her. And there's some other special connections I have to it that I won't talk about on this show today. But yes, I believe it's called the Blue. I know it's Heron. I think it's the Blue Heron restaurant in southern Wisconsin. So,
and maybe it's the same concept of coming together. And
maybe.
Yeah, that is so cool. That is awesome.
All right, Tom, prepare your trivia as we transition like this right here. Someday, Emily, I'm going to make an actual trivia transition, but for now, it's subscribe, like, leave us a review.
All right. Your categories are North or South, birthdays, dead or alive. Let's see here. Game show hosts, foreign capitals, and one-hit wonders. And I have a bonus question, too. The one-hit wonder is the bonus question. Well, we'll make the Packer trivia the bonus question. We'll do that. All right. Here we go. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
Okay, that was a dumb question. Who's going to say, no, let's go 5 more minutes and then we'll do it now. All right. North or South? Regarding the 2 poles, North and South, which one has the coldest year-round temperature on average? Once again, regarding the 2 poles, North and South, which one has the coldest year-round temperature on average?
I got a guess. I got it. I got a guess locked in with a logical reason. I'll wait for Emily to say if she's got a guess locked in.
I have a guess.
Okay, Emily, ladies first. You go ahead.
The South Pole.
Gregors, what do you say?
My guess is the North Pole because I think there's more land mass there, and the South Pole because it's surrounded more by ocean, I think stays slightly warmer. But that's where I'm going with the logic side of that. I don't know if I'm right.
Okay, well, it's very, very cold in the North Pole. It is minus 40 degrees. But if you're going to go traveling to one of the poles, you're going to want to go to the North Pole because it's warmer. South Pole, minus 57.
Wow.
Yes. Emily.
I was way off.
Emily's 17 degrees. I'm telling you, I've got 2 travel options. I'm going to the North Pole. It's warmer.
I'm not going to either.
I'm not going to either.
My travel option is Seattle. I was out there about a year and a half ago. I'm going back out again. I usually try and make it out there once or twice in a 5-year period. Joe, my buddy, and sometimes his wife comes here. They were just here about a year ago.
They were here over this. I thought they were here this year.
They were.
Yeah.
Well, it was within the last calendar year.
Okay.
Because he actually went to trivia. Me hosting, he played with my wife and all. That was fun. It was a great night. Okay, here we go. Birthdays. Actress Bo Derek. You remember her from 10. She had a birthday just recently. Was she born before or after the Houston Oilers became a professional football team in the American Football League, or back then it was called the AFL? There's a reason why this question is asked and why it's asked the way it is. It's a 50-50 question. You got to be before or after. So once again, actress Bo Derek has a birthday today. Was she born before or was she born after the Houston Oilers became a professional football team in the AFL, the old American Football League? Sorry, Emily, it's a football question. You're probably like, okay, Greg, you take it.
It's okay. I don't even know who the actress is.
You don't know Barrett. She's too young to know Bo Derek. That's how old we are, Tom. She does.
I know.
Do you know the name Dudley Moore?
No.
Oh.
Arthur was the movie.
Okay.
No. The movie was called 10. The movie was called 10.
Oh, okay. But I'm thinking Dudley Moore was in Arthur.
Dudley Moore was in a movie called Arthur, which is a classic movie.
Yeah.
And the movie 10, also a classic movie for a fairly different reason. But deep, if you're ever looking for a deep dive into early 80s or late 70s when they made that movie.
What, Arthur?
Arthur and 10.
Oh, okay, same time, yeah.
Early 80s, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, very early 80s for Arthur, and I'm not sure about 10. I think it was 1980. I think it was.
And Bo Derek was stunning in that movie. Let's just leave it alone at that. She's a beautiful woman. So Bo Derek is probably in her mid to upper 60s. So she was probably born right around 1960, maybe a little bit before. And the Houston Oilers, were they formed before 1960? I don't think so. So I'm going to say Bo Derek is the older of the two.
And Emily, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're going to go ahead and agree with him.
Yeah.
Oh, good choice. Okay, so Bo Derek was born in 1956. She's 68 years old. The Houston Oilers became a team in 1960. So yes, A little closer than you thought. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the connection between Bo Derek and the Houston Oilers? On their hat, they have a Derek. That's what
Derek, Royal Derek.
that's what the oil
That's
thing is.
clever. That's clever. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, Alive and Well. Here we go. Are you familiar with the song Smooth Operator?
Mhm.
Well, the singer of that is Sade. Is she dead or alive? Is singer Sade dead or alive? There we go as I adjust my hat.
It's a total guess for me, Emily. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with alive.
Me too. I'm thinking alive.
She is alive and well at 65 years old. Now, what I was thinking is this girl here, people were thinking she was dead. Sinead O'Connor, she is. She's the one that ripped up the picture of the phone.
She had a problem. Confession time, Tom. I've DJ'd weddings for years, and probably 20 years ago, I was DJing a wedding, and I told somebody that the next song coming up was from Sade.
Oh,
like,
geez.
who's Sade? Sade. Sade. That's Sade.
There's no H in it, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I had to be taught by someone that I didn't know that was how to pronounce.
But then you never pronounce it wrong for the rest of your life.
Then I got it right. There you
go. Sade.
Sade.
Wow.
All right.
You'd have been better off saying shade, because then they would have at least.
It's Sade. All right, whatever.
All right, here we go. Game show hosts. And Emily, I apologize. I never know the age of the guests, so I never know how to.
Hey, I'm doing pretty well.
You are. You're actually 2-1. You're 2-0. He's 1-0. Whatever. Between the three of you, you've gotten them all so far.
All right.
So we're good. All right, game show host. Who was the first host of the game show Family Feud when it debuted in 1976?
I have no idea.
Family Feud was most famously hosted by Richard Dawson. And Richard Dawson was one of these guys who was not afraid to kiss every woman on the set. Welcome to the show. The Family Feud.
Didn't matter if she was 18 years old or if she was 86 years old.
Yes, he was a very friendly man. But there was a host before him, and I do not know who it was. I'm trying to think of even Alan something.
It debuted in 1976.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm right though, right? Someone before Richard Dawson. It was Richard Dawson?
Richard Dawson. It debuted in 76. He was it. I used to come home from school every single day and watch Family Feud. It was on.
I thought someone hosted it for 1 or 2 years before he did, and
unless it was like in a foreign country or something like that.
Oh no.
No, that was, and I don't know. You could do a deep dive and find that somebody in Cincinnati, Ohio, had it for 6 months, and then it took off or something.
He's the most famous one. I think he might still have an edge on Steve Harvey, although Steve Harvey's doing a great job with it these days.
Yeah, Steve Harvey's been doing it for a number of years now. I don't know. That's a good question. Who's hosted it longer? I like that. Maybe I'll make that. All right, here we go. Foreign capitals. Minsk, Minsk, is the capital of this country. Name the country. And if you remember the Friends episode when Hank Azaria played, forgot his character's name, but he was in love with Phoebe and he was going to go to Minsk, and then that blew her away. And it's like, oh, okay. Then he came back. Minsk is the capital of this country. Name the country.
European, right? European.
Not anymore. I did earlier.
Belgium or Bulgaria? I'm thinking it's one of the B European countries, but I don't know.
If there was a third B, you might be closer.
Belgium, Bulgaria.
Anything, Emily? You're thinking of B countries now. Boston. No, that's not a country.
No, I don't know.
Botswana. No.
Oh.
Well, let me know when you give up. When you throw in the proverbial towel, the white flag.
Dang. I Can't think of another country that starts with, but I thought it starts with a B.
All right, so I'm going to give you one little hint.
Okay.
In the movie Beauty and the Beast, what was the beauty's name?
Belgium. Bell.
No, you were close. You
Bell.
got the bell.
Belarus.
Yes.
Belarus.
Yes. Belarus. Yes.
I always think of that as a city, not a country, but it's a country.
Belarus in the old Soviet Union, and it went independent in 1991. So, all right, and finally, one hit wonders. I can't play the song. I'm not even sure we're supposed to actually talk about it. This 1983 one hit wonder reached number 5. By the way, Greg, you're a DJ. You're eliminated for right now.
See if I can help.
If she can't get it. It reached number 5 on Billboard's Top 100 for this English band. Name the artist. The song is called Too Shy. Oh, too shy. Hush,
Hush, hush, eye to
eye.
eye. Yes.
Yep.
Emily, you've heard the song, right?
No.
Girl, you got to get out more.
I was hoping you were gonna say Chumbawamba Tub Thumping, and I would have known that one.
Oh my God, that's hilarious because that's my go-to whenever I do this kind of stuff. But this particular quiz here was written, I wrote it last week, for the groups that I do that are of the 40s and 50s range, probably. So that's why they tend to be, but I always do have to throw in some younger ones because I have some 20-somethings, maybe early 30-somethings that play as well. So I have to be fair with that.
I'm not sure I'm correct on this, but my guess is the group name was Kaja Gogo or Kaja Gugu.
Kaja Gugu. Okay, Emily, that's your homework assignment now. Google, Kaja Gugu, Too Shy.
Okay,
Next week, you're going to go, Too Shy, eye to eye. People are going to say, what are you singing? I'm singing Kaja Gogo.
Kaja Gogo.
Yeah, and
nice.
that other song by Sade. Oh, man, that's a good song. Anyway, all right. So that was it. Okay, final question, Gregors, I got to ask because this is one for you.
Oh,
Emily,
before you do, quick shout out to James. James was watching on the In Crowd Networking group page and wanted to share with Emily. Excellent information. Thank you for that. So thank you for the comment, James.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, very good.
All right,
go ahead.
1996 football season, 1997 Super Bowl between our Green Bay Packers and those dreaded New England Patriots. Who was the MVP of the Super Bowl? Gregors?
I do know that one. I do know that one. I'm trying to think if I can give Emily a hint. Because this guy was a big Heisman winner in college, you might remember he played for the Michigan Wolverines.
Yep.
Decimated the Big Ten for, I think, 2 seasons on the defensive side of the ball and as a kick returner and punt returner.
I got nothing.
No, he wasn't. You might be thinking of.
Well, I'll tell you, it's Desmond Howard.
It is Desmond Howard. He was not. He was a kick returner. No, he was wide receiver though. But you're thinking of Charles Woodson.
I am.
That was the defensive back. Charles Woodson was on the 2010 Packers team.
Yeah,
and he was phenomenal. But you are right. It is Desmond Howard. You knew it. You knew it. So.
He ran a kickoff back for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and he played an I mean, other than that, I want to say a couple of times he had other excellent run backs. He probably had more yards as a kick returner that game than most of the wide receivers had receiving passes.
Yeah.
Which, it's if you're going to win the MVP of the Super Bowl, you better do something crazy like that. And he did. He was amazing.
He certainly did. It was a magical season. It was so awesome. And it was a very nice cap on an otherwise weird season. My daughter became diabetic that year. She was 9, and they had to airlift her up to Madison. Not to put a downer on the show, but the very first game when all this happened was when they beat Tampa Bay in week 1. I had to watch it up at a hospital in Madison. So that whole season was me learning about diabetes, me trying to make sure my daughter was healthy, trying to make sure we did the right things, gave her the right insulin because she was type 1. She was juvenile diabetic. And then watching the Super Bowl cap off that year made a horrible year a great year.
And she's doing well today, for those wondering.
She is. She absolutely is. She's 30. God, I'm
30 something.
well, she's 38. I feel old now. I just feel old.
Uh,
But anyway,
well, Emily,
uh,
we've kept you way longer than I was expecting to keep you
All
this morning,
good. All
but
good. This has been fun.
I hope
yeah,
you enjoyed yourself. And the link again is in the chat for anyone who wants to check out the ebook. And I highly recommend getting it, because if you're doing any kind of networking, this is going to help you focus on what's important, and actually maybe get you just enough out of your comfort zone a couple times a year that your business experiences growth because of it. So that's important too. So Emily, thanks for all that you do, and we'll be seeing you next month at the Grow Your Network event online.
Thanks so
and
much.
go Seahawks.
No, he's
And
not.
no, I didn't finish. And take the Mariners with you. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't care less. But in a couple of weeks, it's Green Bay, Seattle. Couple of weeks.
It is. It is. No wagering. Bye, Emily. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a great
There
week.
goes Emily BISSEN, Grow Your Network. Check that out. The link is in the chat. That was fun. Hey,
It really was. She's a very, very awesome person.
she is.
I can see why she's why her network grows. I can see.
She does an excellent job.
I love that story. Well, I tried accounting and I tried whatever the other one was. No, sorry, not for me. Financial
Admin work, boring admin work.
admin work. Yeah. Believe it or not, I think I'd be okay with admin work.
I'm going to put in the chat real quick here another couple of links, because we're less than 2 weeks away now from our In-Crowd 815 Christmas party. This year, an appreciation night for volunteers of Nick's Wish and fundraiser for the Nick's Wish Nicholas Ritchell Foundation, premier sponsor UW Health. We're going to be at the Cliff Breakers Event Center in Rockford, and it starts at 5:30. We'll probably go till 8 or 8:30 that night. It's going to be a wonderful night. It's we refer to it as heavy hors d'oeuvres. It's not a sit-down meal per se. This is a networking event. So you'll come, and tickets are only $8 or $10, and it's that $10 tickets. That link is now in the chat. We are also, because this is a fundraiser for Nick's Wish, they do a very quite famous silent auction when they do their Nick's Home Run event in October. They're continuing that now for this event, and the silent auction for the December 4th event goes live at 3 p.m. today, and there are numerous items on the website that you can bid on and help raise money for Nick's Wish as they try to fulfill wishes of young people aged 18 to 24 who have been dealt the blow of a terminal cancer prognosis, similar to what the Make-A-Wish Foundation does for kids up to age 18. Nick's Wish picks up at age 18 and goes to age 24. So come and join us at Cliff Breakers December 4th. If you can only be there for 10 minutes or the full time, just come and support the event. You'll be glad you did. You'll be able to experience some really cool stuff on our December 4th event. The tickets, again, information is in the chat right now. That is a Wednesday night, by the way, which I know some people are like, wait a minute, I thought In-Crowd always does events on Thursdays. Yeah, we do from January through October, but then we take November off for Thanksgiving and do our fundraising event that first week of December on a Wednesday. So looking forward to that coming up quick. I know Tom and I both want to give a shout out to Jerry's Cafe. We had our breakfast out there this week with Joanne and thanked her for her many years of serving this show and Paws Humane Society. We spent a couple hours there.
We did. It's not my record, but yeah, my record is about 6 hours. I once spent 6 hours in a cafe, not at Jerry's. They closed too soon for that. Yeah, we had a great time. Kind of tucked back in the corner. That was awesome.
So,
and by the way, shout out to you, Greg. You paid for the whole thing. I probably figured you were going to, only because the whole idea was that when we do these races to 10, the winner, you buy breakfast. But we haven't done it for a long time, so I kind of figured you would. But
yeah,
I was at least willing to pay for the tip or something. but we
I had
appreciate it.
I had some making up to do. A lot of making up to do. So I took
Yeah.
care of that somewhat.
I have a shout out as well that I did not do last week. Remember last week I was wearing my number 50 jersey?
You were.
And I turned around and it had my name on it, Tom, which is
Yeah.
Zach Tom, right guard for the Packers. Well, that came from my niece, Ashley. You see her on here from time to time, Ash Rose. She is a wonderful gal. Oh, my God, her story is so amazing. And she is an incredible mom, an incredible young lady, a wonderful niece, and just a great human being. Anyway, we were talking, and she says, kind of coyly, she goes, so what size shirt do you wear? I'm like, oh, well, I wear a 3XL. Oh, okay, good to know. So anyway, I kind of suspected she was going to do something crazy like that. Then we were talking about jerseys, and this was unrelated. And she'd picked up on it, I guess. I said, well, yeah, I was thinking about getting a Zach Tom jersey because it's got Tom on the back of it. And then she sent me one, and it was white, which is exactly what I would have bought.
Nice.
Because I have a lot of green jerseys. It's the only other white jersey I have is an Amon Green jersey. Amon Green? Who?
The great Amon Green.
Oh, I really liked Amon Green out of Nebraska.
He had a few amazing seasons in the green and gold. And
Well,
Josh,
before Aaron Jones took over, Amon Green was the leading Packers rusher. And we've had some great rushers through the years. We've had Paul Hornung, Jim Taylor, Donnie Anderson, John Brockington. I mean, we've had some great runners over the year.
Turdell Middleton. That was
Turdell Middleton. He had a 1,000-yard season. The very first season that we went to 16 games, 1978. He got his 1,000 yards, but he did it in 14 games. So I was so excited about that. It's like, he did it in 14. Yeah, Turdell Middleton. I remember that name. Wow.
Well, Josh Jacobs is quickly chasing a lot of these records because he's having a great season. And if he stays healthy, give him a few years, he might give a run for all of these records here in the next few years.
Well, you look at what Josh Jacobs has done just this year, and you compare that to 2 years ago when he won the NFL rushing title. And then last year, he had a major drop-off. Oh, gee, what happened last year? Coaching changes. Just a mess. The absolute mess that was the Las Vegas Raiders. So, and it's still a mess.
Yeah.
There's no secret. And now he comes over to a Green Bay team that has a good line, a great quarterback, great receivers. Actually, it's a great line. It's very, very good.
An amazing coach.
An amazing coach, an amazing offensive scheme. And then you go over to the other side of the ball where you've got a defense that hasn't even fully connected, hasn't even fully gelled yet. Remember last year, the last 8 games of the season, they went 6-2, and they darn near made it to the NFC Championship game. Were it not for perhaps a missed field goal or a missed interception try, we would have been in the NFC Championship game against the Detroit team that was beatable. We proved that on Thanksgiving Day. So that defense is even better this year. We're in week 10 now. Well, we're in week 11 because they're 7-3. Game 11, week 12, whatever.
Right.
So we've got an opportunity here to beat up San Francisco team tomorrow. And that essentially gives them a 94% chance of making the playoffs, which is fine. It's a foregone. It's a fait accompli for me. It is that they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yes.
Because the wild cards are probably all going to come out of the Central or the North, whatever. I still can't get used to
the Vikings and Packers got an inside track to both wild card spots. Is there? I say both. Is there 2 or 3 wild cards?
There are 4 division winners and 3 wild cards.
3 wild cards. Yeah.
Yes.
So the 1 seeds are the only seeds now that get the bye week for the first week of the playoffs.
Exactly.
That'll most likely be Detroit the way things are going.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's Detroit. I'm hoping it's Green Bay, but that ain't gonna happen. Detroit has to go. They have to take a downward dive, and I just think that team is too good and too well coached. And this is me saying it. I'm not a Dan Campbell fan because I think he does make a lot of really dumb decisions, but I think he's learning, and I think the team is learning, and I think you can throw 5 interceptions and still win the game. You're doing something right.
He's got the motivation factor, and
Oh,
he's got the brains around him. He's got, the coordinators around him
yeah.
to help him make good decisions.
Yeah, and you know what? The motivation factor is him being a great motivator, but also Detroit not having anything. They've never been to a Super Bowl.
No.
They are one of only 4 teams that have never been to a Super Bowl.
Lions, Houston,
Yep,
Jacksonville,
yep.
and who's the fourth one?
They just recently played
They just recently played.
Thursday night, and it wasn't
Oh, the-
Pittsburgh.
Oh, the Browns have not been to a Super Bowl.
Nope.
That's
Cleveland's not
amazing
been to
to
a Super
think.
Bowl. Those are your 4 teams right there.
That is amazing to think that the Browns have never been to a Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
they've had some great teams over the years. They had some great teams before they up and left Cleveland and then restarted in Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know the Cleveland had a team called the Cleveland Rams back in the 40s?
The Cleveland Rams.
And I do not believe they were the Los Angeles Rams. Hence, then the St. Louis Rams, and now back to Los Angeles Rams. Completely different franchise.
Completely different organization.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Cleveland Rams.
All right. So yeah, a beat up 49ers team, including their quarterback. It looks like Brock Purdy's probably not going to play this week.
He's not going to play. He won't play.
So
You're going to have somebody named Brandon Allen playing. He's a journeyman. He's been around 6 or 8 teams in the NFL. But there's a reason why you've never heard his name. I think he's probably had a cup of coffee with each team.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have Jerry Rice in his prime, Lynn Swan in his prime, Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, and everybody else in their prime. It doesn't matter. If your quarterback can't get the ball to them, then it doesn't matter. And right now, their line is beat up, and Green Bay's line is healthy. Green Bay's defense outside of Jair Alexander. Jair's out. He's out another 3 weeks. He's got a PCL strain. So Green Bay's defense is going to go after that quarterback.
Yes.
I look for this, and I said this last week. But actually, if you remember, I did say this could be 40-10 Green Bay, or it could be 20-17. The Packers win it on the last second field goal. That's what I predicted. I was somewhat close on that, but not that I wanted to be. But it was a tough game. It was a Central Division, North Division game, a rivalry game. You know what? If you're a bettor or anything like that, don't bet on rivalry games because
I know, right?
one team could be 7-0 and the other team could be 0-7, and it's going to be a good game. So don't bet
Only
on rivalry
one guy on the set Thursday night picked Cleveland to beat Pittsburgh. And when I listened to him talk, I was like, you know what? He's onto something. This might be a Cleveland game. And Mike Tomlin, I don't think still has yet to win on a Thursday night. He loses on primetime games quite a bit.
Yeah, that's interesting. Though the Steelers hadn't scored a touchdown in God knows how long. They didn't score one in the last game, but they won 18-16 over the Ravens.
A lot of field goals.
So yeah,
I
knew this game was going to be a low scoring game, especially with the snow flying the way it was. Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
My prediction for the Packers-Niners game this Sunday is this backup quarterback for the 49ers is going to meet face-to-face two prominent, I should say one prominent and one needs to be prominent defensive person on the Packers. One is Rashawn Gary.
It's Rashawn Gary.
Gary's going to meet him at least once, if not twice. The second one,
Lucas Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness. You took it right out of my mouth. He's been.
I knew exactly where you were going with that.
He's been called out this week. He needs to start showing up.
Yeah. The problem is he doesn't have a move. He doesn't have a signature move. He's all brawn. He's all just running. Someone needs to teach him how to do like the Reggie White, he
needs the Reggie White hump move. He needs the hump move. Because he's not showing up the way that they expected him to, and he is a powerful, powerful man.
Yeah, he's about 6'8", and he's about 290 or something.
Well, that's a little exaggerated, but he's big.
Is it? He's not 6'8"?
I think he's 6'4", 6'5", but
okay, well, whatever.
He's Adonis. He is built like a truck.
He is.
Quay,
Oh, with a helmet and cleats, he's 6'8".
yeah, right. Quay Walker is starting to show up a little bit more, and still needs to show up a little bit more because they
Yeah.
expected more from him. He's starting, I think, to show. But Lucas Van Ness, LVN, has got to make his presence known, and this is the game to do it because he's got this backup quarterback who's going to hold the ball too long. He's going to get a chance.
Yeah. Trent Williams is, I think he's back, but I think he's not at full strength. Oh, Nick Bosa on the defensive side is out.
Ooh, that's right. That's right. we
So
don't
if
have to
he's
worry about
out,
him.
you don't. Look, this could be same scenario as last week, but this could be the Packers coming out party. This could be the game
Could be.
where they say that's the one they needed. That was their signature win for the year. That's what propels us into the playoffs. We would be 8-3, and maybe Minnesota loses. Minnesota still holds the tiebreaker over us if they're also 8-3, which they would be. Detroit holds all tiebreakers right now because the only team to beat them was not Minnesota. It was I forget who it was. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. They're winning games by about 110
They're
to
scoring.
5.
They're
I mean,
scoring
it's
a lot.
unbelievable. Unbelievable offense. Oh, and by the way, Green Bay only held them to 17 points. That other 7 points they got was on a really horrible throw,
Terrible.
an
throw.
interception of
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So Green Bay has looked the best against Detroit this year,
I'm
with the exception of the team that beat them. And I just can't remember who beat them.
There is a part of me that's a little scared because if the Packers don't show up this Sunday, and if they do lose to a backup quarterback, that could really derail the rest of their season. So this is an important game.
What it would do is it would relegate them to possible wild card status. They still hold tiebreakers over the Rams. They have to play New Orleans. New Orleans is out anyway. It doesn't matter. But they would have to really turn it on and win out. But the question will keep rising. Well, you can't get over the hump of San Francisco. You couldn't beat a backup quarterback. What makes you think you're going to win the first game of the playoffs? Last year was different because we had such a magical run. And you knew going in that they had a chance against the Cowboys. They had a chance, and that's all you need. But if you don't feel like you got a chance going into a playoff game, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, you got it. All right, let's wrap this up. We got a big number of the week to determine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yet, don't we? So I think I covered all the business. So let's do. It's a brand new race to 10 where it's just me against Tom, and Tom's the only one guessing. 676,000 is our big number of the week this week. The answer is Pistachios or Play App. And Tom has texted me his answer. So I am going to look up right now, where does 676,000 come in this week? Well, are you a pistachio eater, Tom? Do you like pistachios?
I love pistachios.
You love pistachios? I'm not against pistachios. I guess there's never been a snack of choice for me, but when I've had them, I've liked them. So
the reason I guessed 670 pistachios is because that's how many pistachios I've eaten in the last year.
676,000 metric tons is the amount of pistachios produced in the United States in the 23-24 growing season. That's up 69% year over year, according to Sherwood News. Pistachios, besides being delicious, are also easier and cheaper to grow than almonds, especially when it comes to using less water. And that's pretty key for drought-prone California, where pistachio crops generated $3 billion in revenue in 2023. So congratulations, Tom. You getting the point this week. The Play App.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah, it takes two to start a trend.
I won last week. And now this week. You're now two in a row. Guess what the third biggest United States restaurant chain is by sales right now, Tom? The third biggest U.S. restaurant chain. I am gonna say.
While you're thinking, I'm gonna.
Chick-fil-A.
This restaurant is launching an app that will host original shows, podcasts, games, ebooks, and recipes, Chick-fil-A is putting out an app geared toward families with children ages 12 and under, and it's going to put the fried chicken brand into the media world in an attempt to drive sales. It's debuting with a scripted podcast about a shipwrecked family. Robinson Crusoe. What was the shipwrecked family story that we all learned as a kid? Robinson
Gilligan's Island comes to mind.
You're right, though. Chick-fil-A is putting out this
Wow,
app.
I got it right.
And
so
yeah.
I'm going Subway, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, or McDonald's, Subway, Chick-fil-A.
Probably. I don't know what the first two are, but that's what they put on there. So anyway, congratulations, Tom. Any other final shout outs before we wrap up today?
Just go Packers. I'm
Go
looking
Pack,
for
go.
a very good game. It's a 3:00 game, 3:25 or
3:25
something like that. I always
kickoff.
like it when they're playing in the afternoon. I'm hoping it's a little bit windy, and maybe not windy, but a little bit. Yeah, maybe not Southern California or Middle California weather. We don't want 66 degrees.
Weather
No.
challenged slightly.
Yeah, slightly. 'Cause
They were
good
showing
baseball.
videos on social media this week of the Packers 49ers Mud Bowl game when the Packers beat the Niners on a muddy Lambeau field, and Brett Favre had a big day. And was it Dorsey Levens? Who was the running back that year?
We had Edgar Bennett and Dorsey Levens. I don't know what year we're talking.
It might have been Edgar Bennett. It might have been Edgar
Yeah.
Bennett that was running through the mud that year and got it done. But anyway, enjoy the game tomorrow. And remember, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. Meet you back here for another In Crowd 815 podcast. Buddy, have yourself a wonderful weekend.
I'll be texting you during the game.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.